Welcome into Live from Los Angeles, presented by On Location. Visit onlocation.com/SB56 for the ultimate Super Bowl 56 experience. And welcome on in, Julie Donaldson, and who better to start the show with than the Super Bowl winner, Joe Theismann. Joe, does it bring back memories?
It does.
Coming back to a Super Bowl?
It really does. Every year it's exciting. Having won one, it just makes it more and more special. And to see all the different people. As a matter of fact, I had a friend of mine do some research because I was curious how many quarterbacks have actually won world championships. There's only 33 of us. 33 different men have won world championships, and so it's a very unique fraternity to be a part of. And of course, obviously, after this week, there's going to be another one. So it'll be a 34th will be added.
How is it different now? With everything that's going on here, Radio Row, all the excitement, the fan experience, how is it different now than when you were there?
It was a more intimate setting. Now it's massive. You can see by everything that's going on around here, and especially Radio Row. But the exposure to the media worldwide is so different as well. The game doesn't change. I still think of Tom Brookshire. I believe he was interviewing Dwayne Thomas after the Dallas Cowboys had won a world championship. And he asked Dwayne about the game, and he said, I don't know what the big deal is, it's just another game. Well, if you want to convince yourself of that, that's fine, and that's really what you try to do. And when you break the game down, that's exactly what it's going to be. It's going to be a question of, does somebody make a mistake? Does somebody make a play?
Right.
But it's more than that now.
I can see maybe trying to convince yourself that so it doesn't get too big to where you go into it and approach it differently, and therefore maybe mistakes can enter, or you get yourself overhyped.
But the other part of that, real quick, is that's the responsibility of the coach. To be able to keep everybody at an even keel as they prepare for Sunday. Because it's out here it's a 3:30 game, so that's pretty good. But if you're playing back east somewhere, it's a 6 o'clock game. You got all day Sunday to think about it.
When it does come to the quarterbacks, the next one, as you said, there will be, it's kind of two different paths at the quarterbacks, two different stories. You have Joe Burrow, drafted just 2 years ago, his second year in the league, and then you have Matt Stafford, that's been in the league for forever, has never really gotten to this point, and he was brought in via trade. How do you see that matchup going?
Well, first of all, they are. One's very young and the other's very experienced.
Yeah.
But the young one in Joe Burrow, what I love about Joe is you can take and get an essence of his personality by his response to one of his questions. Someone asked him, they said, because he had a JB9 necklace in diamonds, and somebody said, Joe, are they real diamonds? And he said, I make way too much money for these not to be real. And I love that comment, because I used to wear the fur coat and all that kind of stuff. So there's a swagger about him that I really love. And Matthew has plodded along and been in a difficult situation many times in Detroit, and has always stood up, played hurt, played through everything, never said I want out, never said I want to leave, wanted the team to be built around him. Now he's where the Rams want him to be. They made the deal to get him here. And I believe that Matthew, and both Joe and Matthew have won games to come back to get here. So they're both somewhat seasoned, even though Joe is young. I remember we did the Washington Cincinnati preseason game.
Yeah.
Had a chance to visit with him, was impressed with him then. Knew he wasn't completely healthy. I watched him throw, and the knee wasn't quite there, but he got better and better. And I think the last month of the season, he said that he really felt like he was himself again. And we saw him run a couple times against Kansas City and make some really big third downs. So I think you do. You have the young guy. Both of them throw the ball well. I think both coaches will want to push the ball down the field. But I do believe this, defense wins championships.
That's usually, people want to say that old adage isn't true because it's such an exciting, high-flying game these days. But even what we've seen, it does always come down to that, especially with so much invested in the offenses. You've got to be able to stop them if you want any success. Now, if we talk about this and take a step back to what Washington needs to do to get to this level, and of course the biggest question the offseason presented to us is what's going to happen at quarterback.
Right.
And you have, just as you have here in the Super Bowl, two options. You could go and draft a quarterback at 11, or maybe make some moves, or you could go out and get someone in free agency or via trade that has experience. What do you think would be better fit to get this offense where it needs to go?
Well, I think if you're going to go get somebody at a free agency, they've got to be fairly young. You can't. I like Huntley, the kid out of Baltimore. I like, of all the free agents, he's the one I like the most, because I believe he brings athleticism as well as I like the way he throws the football. We've had some quarterbacks come in here that I just didn't think threw the football very well. They were inconsistent in throwing the football. That's the paramount thing in my mind. Athleticism is a part of it, but you work on your offensive line for protection. You set up the system so that you get the ball out of your hands. There's ways to work around that from a mobility standpoint. I really think we need to go find a young quarterback. We have a new name. Why not find somebody young to grow and build with? So that's, and listen, Taylor was unbelievable. I mean, Taylor, under trying circumstances, with all the changes that went on, he did a heck of a job.
He exceeded expectations.
But his arm is just not at the level where you think you can do everything that you need to do with it, to be perfectly honest with you. And I think, like I said, I think the world of him. But that's a fact. And so now you want to look around and say, where's the free agent option that gives us a chance, maybe a young guy like him going forward with a chance to be able to grow, or bring one in. Remember, I was a third-round pick. I was a fourth-round pick. Joe Montana was a third-round pick. Tom Brady a sixth-round pick. So you don't have to draft somebody number one.
Right.
But you just have to fit him into the right system.
Hey, you're here at Radio Row. You're chatting with me, but it's beyond that. What are you doing here?
Actually, what I'm doing is, for the last 4 years, I believe, I've been talking about Medliminal, and it's spelled Medliminal. And the website is medliminal.com. What we do is we're a company that looks at the medical bills, the healthcare situation that you have in a company. So if a company has medical bills, you have multiple offices, you're dealing with healthcare, quite often those bills are not accurate. And so what we do at Medliminal is we examine those bills to make sure that there's accuracy in the billing process. I think statistics show that 80% of the bills are overcharged. Well, we just want to make sure that you're being charged for the services that are being rendered, and they're accurate. And so to me, I felt like it's a way to help companies out. Companies are always looking for ways to save money, so this could be a great opportunity to be able to save some money. So it's Medliminal, it's Medliminal.com.
All right, thank you, Joe. We appreciate you taking
Thanks,
some time
Julie.
as always
great
to chat
with
with
you.
us.
Thank you.
Thank you. Well, I've been able to find some Washington Commanders angles here in LA. Everybody is here to talk about the AFC Championship Bengals and the NFC Champion Rams, both of whom come into this one with some star power under center. It will be just the second ever Super Bowl featuring two quarterbacks selected with the first overall pick in the draft, Ron Rivera being a part of the other in Super Bowl 50. This season, Joe Burrow led the league with a 70% completion percentage, and while Matthew Stafford had the second most touchdown passes, he also finished tied for first, throwing the most interceptions in the league. Taylor Heinecke, first off, what have you been up to since we last saw you, the final game?
Been at home, down in Flowery Branch, binge watching shows and movies.
What shows? Come on.
Ozark.
Yeah?
Just finished that.
The fourth season? You got through it all?
Fourth season, yeah.
You liked it?
Loved it. Big fan of that one. It's cool because they actually film that show like 15 minutes down the road from me sometimes.
Really?
Yeah, they use Lake of Ozark and they use Lake Lanier, and I live right next to Lake Lanier, so I think
that's kind of cool.
Yeah, that one, and I just started Succession.
I couldn't get into that.
It's tough.
It's a little self-indulgent. That's what I guess that's the point, but it was a little too much for me.
I was talking to someone else about it, and I'm like, it's hard for me to buy into these kids that are billionaires and they're being brats. I'm like, it just doesn't. It's not my deal.
I need some discipline.
Yeah.
All right. So a few movies. How's the body feel? I know that's one thing you like. Were you surprised yourself that you went through the whole season and made it without major injuries?
I was.
Yeah.
That was a big question mark, throughout the years. And, again, the last off season, I really dove into it, put on a lot of muscle, and I think that was a huge part of why I lasted so long. But, there's some things I kind of want to adjust this off season. But we'll see what happens.
Just go around flexing all the time then?
No, I'm not.
No?
I'm not trying to be as big.
Do you go to the beach? It's over.
Oh, yeah.
No? Come on.
No. Not yet.
All right, so what are you adjusting this off season?
I want to do some more mechanic stuff, some more footwork stuff, and it's not like I don't do that last year. But there's some guys that are very well known out here in LA and San Diego that I want to go to. I want to dive in and see what they have to say, and the more people that kind of give you some information, you can kind of pick and choose what is right for you, and the more the better. So I'm gonna do that this off season.
How is this off season different now compared to last year? They didn't wait long to say they wanted to bring you in, but it's a different position now.
Yeah. It's a very different position now.
Yeah.
Again, there's been lots of noise about going out and get a quarterback, and again, that was the same thing as last year. It's kind of known. I kind of knew that before the season even started. And, it's no different from my years past. It's something where you go into every offseason and every training camp and OTAs where you have to compete. And I think that's the best thing for me. Competing against someone else and someone else competing against me, I think it just makes us both better. So, I'm excited for the opportunity. I just want to be part of the team. I just love playing football.
Is that tough to kind of take on mentally?
It's not. It's not anymore. I think in my earlier years when I wasn't really privy to how the business worked, you kind of get, butthurt over certain things. But you learn, and this is one of those deals where you have to produce year in, year out, and there's new guys trying to get your job every year. So again, I've been competing for a quarterback spot since middle school, so it's nothing new to me.
When you look back on this season, what are you most proud of?
The fact that in week 17 against the Eagles, and we're driving down the field, 2-minute drive, and if we score, we win, and we're essentially in the playoffs. The fact that we were in that position, considering all the injuries we had, all the COVID stuff that we had, off the field issues that we had, whether that's family members passing away and stuff like that, for us to be in that position I think that's huge. I think that speaks volumes to our guys. I think it speaks volumes to Coach Rivera and how he handled it and how he kept us going. So yeah, I think that's huge for us. We went and beat Tampa Bay. We beat Tampa Bay, and we had a 4-game winning streak. Now, if we can just get rid of the 5-game losing streaks and the 4-game losing streaks, I think we'll be in a lot better place.
When Ryan Fitzpatrick first went down, what was kind of like the mindset of, okay, here we go in the game, and how did that just transition throughout the season as you realized this was yours?
Yeah, it didn't really hit me that it was my team until running out of the tunnel against the Giants that following Thursday. When Fitz went down, we didn't know the severity of his injury. We didn't know any of that. I just knew I had to come in that game and try and get a win. But when I was going out against the Giants, and I kind of had a feeling that, Fitz is 39, or however old he is. What is he, 36, 37? He's been in the league for a long time. And to get that kind of injury, it's tough to come back from at that age. So I knew I was going to be in it for at least 6, 7, 8 weeks. And that's when, it really kind of hit me. And it's fun, man. It's a dream come true. You always want to be a starter in the NFL. So.
And now your time is on demand here at Super Bowl. I'm going to let you go, but what's been the best thing about coming out here as Heinecke? Everybody's pulling at you now.
Yeah, it's cool. There hasn't been many moments where I got to kind of step back and look at where I was and where I am now, and I think this is a good opportunity for that. When people keep bringing up past stuff and keep talking about it, it's you're kind of proud of all you accomplished and all you've been through. So that's fun, but there's a lot more I want to prove.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, we look forward to it and seeing what this offseason brings for you. Thanks, Taylor.
Thanks for having me.
2021 was quite a year to remember for Taylor Heinecke. After taking over starting duties for the injured Ryan Fitzpatrick, Heinecke completed 65% of his passes for just under 3,500 yards and added 1 rushing touchdown to go along with 20 through the air. He also found time to hang with Tress Way for 3 and Out, presented by Theragun.
1 minute on the clock.
All right.
What are the 3 top-selling flavors of ice cream in the United States that have a nut, the name of a nut, in that flavor's name? Go.
Chill out, no.
Think through. You're going to Baskin Robbins. Maybe you're at the grocery store.
Like pecan?
Like a pecan. So,
Pecan ice cream?
man, you're so close. I want to give it to you. What is it? It is something pecan.
Is it a Ben & Jerry's flavor?
Nope.
Butter pecan.
Butter pecan, 1.
Okay.
2 remain. Plenty of time, man.
Almond? Is it almond one of them?
I can't tell you that. I'm sorry.
Jamocha almond fudge?
Nope.
Go to Baskin Robbins.
Sounds wonderful.
What else is there? Peanuts? Peanut butter?
Peanut butter.
Okay.
One more. Oh, bro, you got 15 seconds.
That's oh my god. Cashew.
Bless you. Are we serious from the peanut gallery? Did you hear it?
Pistachio?
Oh my gosh.
Coming in with a buzzer
my
beater,
gosh.
baby.
It's week 5 of hang time, and that hasn't happened once. But because I bring up the nut, it's the peanut gallery back here.
It's been a fun week out here on Radio Row at the LA Convention Center. I was surprised how many people I ran into with Washington ties, including former players. Yeah, you have to represent. You came here. Stay true to your roots. We respect that.
I appreciate it. I respect DC. They always show me love.
Yeah, so you were there on 2-2 for like the name announcement of the Commanders.
Mm-hmm.
How do you feel like the reaction's been now that's kind of a couple of weeks?
There's always a mixed reaction.
Yeah.
We knew that going into it. I wasn't sure if Commanders were on the alumni list of names to be picked, but I like it. We just got to get victories. That's what it comes down to.
That's all everybody says. Okay, so let's talk about that.
Mm-hmm.
This team now going to the third year under head coach Ron Rivera. What do you think the biggest need is for them to really turn that corner?
Man, you got a good receiver. You got to get another good receiver, get another a quarterback, a good quarterback, like a passer that loves to just a gunslinger.
Yeah.
You get two receivers and a gunslinger.
Okay, so we have Terry McLaurin, right?
Yeah.
And Logan Thomas got hurt as a tight end, but he showed what he could do there, especially in the red zone with that big, tall target. But we didn't ever get to see what Curtis Samuel could do and add. What do you think a healthy Curtis, how much does that change what they can do on offense if he's back there to help Terry?
It gives me more options. I played as a second receiver when I was in Indy, and I played as a number one receiver, so I know the pressure it takes off when you have another great receiver, because it kind of hypes you up when your other receiver is making a great play. You're like, all right, I'm next, because that's our job. We want to we feed off each other, and that definitely takes pressure off, and it takes pressure off the team too as well.
Do you have a favorite in this game? Is it the young guy, Joe Burrow, or are you going to go with Matt Stafford getting his chance finally?
I think the Rams are overpowering than the Bengals, but I do want Jamar Chase and Joe Burrow to play well. That'll make it, more of an interesting of a game if those two connect early and often. So, because it's going to happen where, it's going to start off 5 to 10 yard passes or 20-yard passes, and then, they keep connecting. There's a touchdown that's going to come. And once you get a touchdown, like, you feel like you can do anything after that, because, teams can't stop you.
Okay, Zoe, first off, I have to start out by asking you. You played as a Redskin.
Yes, I did.
What do you make of the name change? Take some getting used to.
It hasn't grown on me, if I'm going to be completely honest.
Well, it's only 2 weeks in. I mean,
2 weeks. The jacket was fly that I got, though.
You liked that?
One of 500, so that kind of, okay, all right, I can get behind this a little bit. But it's going to take some time. It's so drastically different than what I was expecting, and just being a part of the process, and just from going from the Redskins to this, it's just different. So it's like with anything, anytime we change, it's going to take a couple of years before you really get even comfortable just saying the name, right? And so we'll see what happens.
I mean, we were the Washington football team for a couple of years, and I think that started to grow on people.
Right.
So it's going to take some time, and I think really it's going to take some winning.
Right. That cures all, right?
It does.
Win cures
it
all.
does. And it sounds so simple, though.
Right.
What do you think if you look back on, Coach Rivera in his first 2 seasons?
Right.
Like, where does this team need to take that biggest next step, do you believe?
It's probably offensively. Obviously in this league, if you want to win at a high level, you got to have a quarterback and an offense that's going to be able to put up some points. I think they have the pieces there defensively when you look at the defensive line, and obviously Ron Rivera being a defensive guy.
Yeah, but the defense it took a while to get things in sync.
Yeah, it takes time. But I mean,
okay.
and I think they, obviously when Chase goes down, that's a big hit as far as a guy that has a lot of energy on the sideline. That's your bell cow, your leader, right? It'd be much like if Aaron Donald went down for the Rams, right? That team would look a little different, right? Just their makeup. But I thought they played really well 2 years ago, right? And so they maybe took a step back. But again, if you can have an offense in this league, and you have to have somebody at that quarterback spot that can really run it, that you trust in and believe in. And I think Taylor has shown up and made the plays he's needed. But they really still have to kind of grow around that, and it has to be more than just Terry, right? Logan goes down as well, right? So they have to, I think, solidify some of that to where it's more consistent. And just have a collective as far as offense and defense playing complementary football. And so hopefully in the third year they're able to find that.
Hey,
right.
You look like you yourself could still be playing.
I could.
That means because you're all about health, taking care of yourself.
Yeah,
right?
Yeah. I could be playing, but I couldn't take the hits the day after. So there's no way ever I would come back at this point like Eric Weddle just did after 2 years off.
But we know health is important for you. One of the reasons you're out here talking with everyone.
Right. Yeah, and supporting the Black Women's Health Imperative. It's an organization geared towards helping Black women being aware about their health, getting educated about their health, the pre-screenings, right, especially in that community where the access to health care has been limited in a lot of ways. And, obviously my mom, my wife, understanding what they mean to our families, the sacrifice that they do every single day. And that's, all women, all mothers do this. But finally putting themselves first so that they can be there for, obviously, their husbands, their families. And a lot of it sometimes comes down to fear. And you just want to encourage women that when you find out, getting to understand where you're at, knowing empowers you, gives you options, rights to either continue to live your life if you're 100% healthy, or detect something early in the stages so you can develop an action plan and have a strategic way of how to face that challenge while you're going through it and overcome whether it's cancer or some other health challenges.
Thank you so much. So appreciate you stopping by. A former Redskin, Washington football team, now a Commander.
Yeah, it's crazy, right?
Here we go. Thank you.
I appreciate you.
Don't go anywhere, because when we come back, I am talking about the Commanders with 8 to the 9 wide receiver Santana Moss. Don't go away.
This one's for every sports fan who just spent the entire game explaining to someone the entire game. You've compromised enough. Pepsi Zero Sugar.
Gambit DC, the world-class sports betting app and website. Gambit DC will be there for the first pitch, the first slam dunk. Bet on your favorite sports and teams, collegiate and professional. There are multiple ways to bet. Spreads, money line, over/under. Want to win big? Try a parlay. Want to be a part of the action? Try in-game betting. It's easy, it's secure, and it's at your fingertips. Gambit DC. It's sports, only better. Powered by DC Lottery. GambitDC.com.
All right, here we go. Miller in motion. Wait, is that a baby on the field?
It looks like it, Craig.
And the defensive linemen are playing peekaboo. I've never seen anything like that before.
Harris now appears to be burping the baby.
That's a great moment right there.
Ref going to the rule book here.
Well, wait a minute. Harris is off to the races.
We don't need any more trick plays.
Touchdown!
But we could all use more ways to save.
Are you kidding me?
That's got to be a long bus ride home for the defense.
Switch to Geico for more ways to save.
Yep, this will work.
Vistaprint, your partner in an ever-changing world.
Another rock and roll weekend.
Burgers, better with Pepsi.
With live betting on FanDuel Sportsbook, you can play here as fast as they play here all game long. Get goosebumps over bootlegs, adrenaline rushes over rushes. Yes. Turn garbage time into greatness and make every moment of every game a big one. With live betting on FanDuel, America's #1 sportsbook, make every moment more even after kickoff. New customers get a risk-free bet up to $1,000. FanDuel, make every moment more.
An active lifestyle means you never stop moving. That's why only Theragun devices are designed to release your body's deepest muscle tension, so you can do the things you love. Land that pose, hit that final rep, taste success, and do it all over again. You only have one body. Make it a TheraBody.
Today, we are so excited to introduce our new identity.
Worry about trying to control or command anything, that's just another.
We are the Commanders.
I'm into it. Washington Command.
I like that. That's cool.
Tough jersey.
The name Commander is going to mean something special to everybody in this community.
No downplaying my accomplishments. I got that confidence. Come on now.
Everybody's been excited about the Washington Commanders gear here out in LA at the Super Bowl. You can get yours at commanders.com. Of course, there's new merch coming each and every day. Now, before we came out west, I had the opportunity to talk to 8 to the 9 Santana Moss about our new name and a new era. Santana, what do you make of the look?
I like it, honestly.
Yeah?
You know, I had a little clue or two about how
how some of the uniforms look. But when I saw this jacket, all that other stuff went out the door. And I look, people get caught up into the past. When you're trying to rebrand and move forward, you have to, have your own little, look. And I think that moving forward, I didn't know what we was going to have when it came to a logo, but I'm okay with it. Because one of my main things was that I want us to have a little something of the past. It's too much rich tradition here for us not to have something to remember the guys that kind of built everything, about this franchise. So I'm cool with everything.
Has it been emotional for you, like it has kind of for the fan base going through all of this?
Julie, I'm pretty easy with stuff. I blow as the wind go, and I can tell you I haven't lost a wink of sleep about what's the new name or will people like it. I'm so caught up in just winning games. I think that proves everything. That will make everyone a believer. That will make people who's not a fan a fan. If you can win them over by winning and going out there playing good football, building this franchise in that direction will solve the problem, will solve everything.
So what was your actual reaction when you heard it was officially going to be Commanders?
Well, I heard it for so long now, and I was hoping that it was like, okay, they just throwing a name out there just to kind of – I didn't know what it was going to be. I would have wanted something probably different when it came to just Commanders because I just never heard of it like within the NFL franchise and everything.
Well, that was part of the point. You had to get something that wasn't in the NFL franchise.
Exactly. But, when you watch some of these other football leagues, the XFL, the Canadian leagues, it seemed like it can ring in those leagues when I first heard of it. But then, like, I go back to saying that when you're rebranding and you're trying to be something new, you have to kind of be different. And so just like anybody else, it's probably going to grow on me, but I'm not mad at it because I feel like at the end of the day, it's still representing the team that I love.
Right. The team that you love. There was a lot of your fellow teammates out here as well today celebrating. A lot of alums came back for this. What was it like being with them, and what was kind of their reaction when they saw the swag, they saw the gear, they saw the uniforms?
The swag is everything. I think one of the things about a player, when you play for these teams, you're not really saying that I'm going to play for the whatever that team may be. You're playing with those guys. And we built so many bonds of being out there on the field together, blood, sweat, and tears, and just going through war. It's great to see them back. And then it's great to be able to be a part of this new tradition, this new era, in Washington history. So it was great just to see those guys again. So many memories is being shared all over again, just of what we experienced. And some of the older guys that I see every day or throughout the weeks that won championships here, I just love being around them because I know if we can build that again here with this new era, then that's what it's about.
That's what it's all about. It's about getting the W's and being the Commanders. Thanks, Tana.
Thank you.
That's going to do it for this show from out here at the Convention Center in Los Angeles. But we'll be back tomorrow, same time, 7 p.m. And John Allen will be joining us. Until then.